This is one of the best kept secrets in Charlotte, North Carolina. Pools, trails, walkable schools, even a golf course. And I'm about to break it down for you. The local spots, the pros, the cons, the little stories no one tells you unless you live here. I'll reveal the name in a minute, but first, let's take a peek at what makes daily life here so addictive. Recreation and facilities. Golf course. Private and public hybrid with a discount for the residents. There's at least 7 pools and one of them has a water slide. Swim team. Highland Creek Hurricanes for the kids, a structured summer activity with meets all across Charlotte. There's tons of walking trails. They're interconnected and heavily used and pet friendly. So every day when I go walking, I take my dog down a few different paths. He favors one more than others. There's shopping and dining. The Lowe's food, not to be confused with Lowe's hardware, but it is new and upscale and beautiful. They have wine tasting, cooking demos, game nights. You could literally spend half the day there. You have Publix. It's another really close grocery option. It has this really delicious cake, if I can remember what the name of this cake is, but it is outstanding. So anytime I'm going to pick up some sort of like sweet treat for my friends, I do stop by that Publix. There's a really good newer, chicken spot. It's called Chex. It's open until 11 p.m. It is late night food, fried chicken, wings, salad. And then right next to Chex is Mr. Tokyo. Has to be one of my favorite sushi spots in Charlotte. It's sushi, Japanese food. It's right next to that Publix. And it is the all-you-can-eat style sushi, except for anything you don't eat, you pay for. But it's delish. For cafes and sweets, we have Grow Cafe. Coffee plus kids area equals great for moms and friends for meetups. It's a great place to be able to drink some coffee and your kids can actually hang out and play. There's Andy's Frozen Custard. It's open late up to 11 p.m. in the summer. It is busy and highly rated. So good. They do all these concretes and they do seasonal ones that are always so good. I always try a new seasonal one. Right down the street, you have a Gold's Gym and it's 24 hours. You can get your workout on at 2 a.m. if you feel like it. Right next to the gym, I almost want to tell you guys the name of this place. It's where I take my dog to get washed. It's called Paws and Perms. They give out little report cards. Oliver is an A+ student. He's a pro at getting groomed and they always love him. There is a neighborhood gym and it's included with the HOA, but it is not open 24/7. So now let's talk about what it's really like to live here, starting with our first pro. Friendly and community-oriented neighborhoods. I know a lot of my neighbors, especially the ones who live closest to me. There was one time that my dog ran away and I was yelling his name and my neighbor was yelling his name back to me. And when he was like, "What are you looking for?" I was like, "My dog." And he said, "What does he look like?" Even though he knows what he looks like. I said, "He's small and yellow." And he was like, "Oh, he's over here sitting on my dad's lap." So it was really sweet. They said, "Oh, I think we thought we were getting a new dog." I was like, "Please don't keep my dog." But it was really nice that they immediately caught him and they kept him safe until I got there. One time I was babysitting and he got out of the house. He was standing in the driveway and I think I fell asleep. It was nighttime. Whatever, just don't judge me. But anyway, a neighbor knocked on the door. They said, "I think you lost something." It's my brother, but they returned him. So that was good. Just kind of like the dog, but for a person. But there's a really strong sense of routine here. My dog has dog friends. When we go, we walk the same time every day. If we go the same path, so we happen to be like synced up with some of the other neighborhood dogs. It's nice when people recognize your dogs, your siblings, but not every neighborhood's a gem. And that brings us to our first con. Nosy or difficult neighbors. Currently, I'm dealing with a neighbor who keeps putting plates of peanuts and walnuts out in her backyard, which would be one thing if it wasn't attracting the raccoons. So now we currently have like raccoons and squirrels going to war with each other over these nuts. They go to her yard, take the nuts, and then bring them into my yard where my dog then digs up the peanuts, and then I randomly see him eating peanuts in the backyard. I'm like, "Where did you get those?" It's my freaking neighbor. So don't really want to start with a fight with my neighbor, so it is what it is, I guess. And then a long time ago, same house, which is crazy. I had a previous neighbor who tried to report my dog for barking. Lo and behold, this barking that they were complaining about was not even my dog. We had to literally turn in hundreds of hours of footage to the HOA to prove that my dog wasn't the problem. Now, sure, while some neighbors get a little too involved, that same level of attention is exactly why this place feels so safe. And that brings us to our next pro. Safe, well-maintained neighborhoods. One of the good things about living in this neighborhood is that I feel completely safe when I'm walking my dog late at night, even if it's 9 or 10 p.m. The neighborhood is clean and well kept, and it really does feel like something out of a movie. I mean, I don't want to be like Pleasantville, but that could be a good example if you guys ever saw that movie, Pleasantville, with Reese Witherspoon. Overall, the cookie cutter house is kind of the same vibe. There are regular security patrols, and that brings peace of mind. It all feels super safe, but of course there's a trade-off, and that's our next con. Strict and inconsistent HOA rules. If you want to put up a fence or even a gazebo, you're gonna have to get approval from the HOA. One time, I left my car parked outside of the driveway, like in the street, for not even a night. And the next day I woke up to a warning from the security or the HOA saying that if it happens again, you're getting a fine. The rules are kind of enforced unevenly. There are plenty of people who park their cars on the street, and guess what? No fines for them, so who knows? Some people seem to get away with more than others. One time there was a bunch of green algae starting to grow on our house. We got rid of it, obviously, and painted and did all the good stuff. Now we're walking around the neighborhood and you'll start noticing the green algae and you're like, where's the HOA now? But whatever. It can get exhausting dealing with all the restrictions, especially when you just want to make some small changes to your home. The rules might be annoying, but they help maintain a neighborhood with serious home variety. And that brings us right into our next pro. Diverse housing options. There is a good range of home styles here, from smaller ranch-style homes to large 5 to 6 bedroom houses, with basements, without basements, etc. We also have townhomes and even 55+ assisted living home options towards the back of the neighborhood. It really is a place where you can start with a young family and stay well into retirement. Lots of housing options, sure, but space, not so much. That will lead us to our con: small lot sizes and lack of privacy. Even though you can live in a good-sized house, about 2,000+ square feet, the lots are really small. Sometimes it feels like all of the houses are kind of right on top of each other. I personally love woodworking, but I can't really do that there. There just isn't space. I can't really get a shed and put it in the backyard and set up a whole little wood backyard shop. The HOA just really won't allow it. And if they do, there's gonna be all sorts of restrictions. So sometimes it's just, more hassle than it's worth. But if you want more space or a bigger lot, there is no shortage of options. I bought a house with my dad, and in 1 year, it appreciated $100K. So there are so many opportunities. You just have to know where to look, but most people don't. That's why I created the Charlotte Home Watch List. It's where I track price drops, builder incentives, and off-market deals that never hit Zillow. So tap the link below, and with that, let's go straight into the next pro. Walkable school for people who want to grow. There's a middle school right inside the neighborhood. When I was younger, I couldn't walk to school because that didn't exist. But as this neighborhood has grown, lots of kids are able to actually have that experience. It's a great place to raise children. Living near school is great until the clock hits 2:45. Here's the downside: school-related traffic congestion. The traffic between 2:45 and 3:30 is absolutely insane. Christianberry Parkway and Ridge Road are especially bad. Parents line up for pickup and it kind of becomes a mess. So yeah, traffic near school is rough, but once you're on foot, the neighborhood trails tell a different story. And that brings us to what's next: walkability and nature access. One of my favorite things is walking my dog through the neighborhood. There are connected walking trails everywhere, and even a loop around a man-made lake. So walkability inside the neighborhood is solid, but beyond that, here's the catch: not walkable to stores or a restaurant. I mean, unless you feel like walking a few miles, you could walk, but overall, walking is great within the neighborhood, but I do have to drive when I want to go anywhere else: coffee, groceries, etc. It's not what I'd call urban walkable, even if things are close by car. Sure, errands require a car, but the long-term stability here is something buyers don't want to overlook. And that brings us to my next pro: long-term value and community stability. Highland Creek has held up really well over the years. It still feels desirable even though it's over 20 years old. I even have an ad in the monthly community newspaper, though nothing's really come of it yet, but I know something will, because that's just how this neighborhood is. It's a stable community, but for some, that feels dated. Let's get into that. Con, some homes feel outdated or too established. Most of the homes here are 20 plus years old, so newer neighborhoods nearby are offering a little bit more space and more modern design. So if you love farmhouse style, you're gonna find that, because that's what's currently super in. But for some buyers, it can feel a little too locked into a certain style or era. So very early 2000s. I mean, a lot of these houses scream that. The homes feel a bit more established, but the location, that is a major selling point. So let's get into it. Pro, convenient central location. It takes me about 20 minutes to get to Uptown or North Lake Mall. Concord, depending on where, it can take you up to 20 minutes, but it also can take you up to like 5 or 10. I have so many grocery stores. There's a Food Lion, Harris Teeter, the Lowe's, the Publix, and Aldi's. I mean, that's 5 grocery stores all within like a 5-mile radius. I have a nail spot, I have my gym, I have several go-to restaurants, and like I have a routine. It's really easy, all within 5 to 10 minutes of my home. It's not rural at all, and everything I need is nearby. The location is definitely a win until traffic shows up. Here's what's changing. Con, growth is creating traffic issues. New apartment buildings and developments are going up quickly, but the roads haven't necessarily caught up yet. They're always building the houses first and then thinking about the traffic later. I can already see traffic getting worse in certain areas that used to be so easy to get through, and they keep adding the roundabouts. Nobody knows how to use them. Stop. They're so annoying, but whatever. A roundabout tangents for another day. So while traffic is growing, but so is the energy, especially for kids. And that brings us to our final pro, youth-friendly and active social life for kids. Growing up here meant I always had something to do and friends to hang out with. Between the swim team and just walking through the neighborhood, I always felt connected. I went to ZB Vance High School when it was first built, and so did so many other kids. That's how I made a lot of my friends who lived at Lake Norman and whatnot. But it was such a fun thing. But they used to call, because there were so many kids who came from Highland Creek, they call us the Highland Creek crew, which is hilarious to me now. But it was really fun. There were so many kids who all went to the same school together. So it was really easy to like hang out, and a really fun way to grow up. So I do have to thank my parents for raising me there and deciding to move there when they could have moved anywhere. The neighborhood is great for kids, and I still see groups of them walking around and biking around and just like hanging out, and it does nothing but give me all sorts of nostalgia and good memories and feelings. It is a great place for kids, but not without a little teen chaos. So here's what I've seen. Con, typical teen mischief happens. When I was younger, kids used to sneak into the pool after hours, and some even tried to walk across the covered pool during the winter. It was solid, but it was total chaos. Not me, I didn't do this, but I remember my friends telling me that they were chased by a security guard 1 or 2 times. And the biggest crime back when I was growing up in Highland Creek was kids stealing beer from the garage fridges. I think today, I don't really know if people are doing garage fridges as much anymore, but if they are, I still think that's kind of a thing today too. So that's a full tour of Highland Creek, the good stuff, the not so good, and everything in between. But let's be real, one video can't tell you everything. If you want a quick way to find the best area for you, take this quiz. It's super easy and shows you what Charlotte neighborhoods fit your lifestyle. Links are below. And in Charlotte, picking the wrong area can be a 6-figure mistake. That's why I've made videos on other areas just like this one. You can watch them here and compare. I'm Inga, your real estate bestie, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!